addiction, principally from alcohol and smoking. Today, about smoking, no smoking, by the spirit Ramatis, and the collaboration of the medium Empresarial. Question: some of our friends managed to suddenly abandon their addiction to smoking, but the sudden lack of cigarettes made them suffer dramatically. Is this the best solution for the case? Answer of Ramatis: undoubtedly, those who have done so are quite worthy of praise for having shown to be the owners of an energetic mind and quite capable of modifying or dominating the dangerous desires of their psyche, because the very difficult thing is not to make the decision not to smoke, but above all, to be able to later endure the distressing effects of conditioning created by smoking in the human organism. During the vicious stage, organic antitoxins are exclusively mobilized to maintain the body's defense and neutralize the poisons from tobacco. See this? Therefore, soon after the abstention of smoking, they begin to act intensely, peremptoriously demanding the toxic they were used to fighting. They recall a large arm, imagine this, the large army that must be launched incontinently against the objectives for which it was mobilized. Stop. And that is in disturbing expectation that it can lead it to indiscipline and the lack of immediate applications of its damned force. It's not easy. It's not easy, the effects. Psychic recovery after the abandonment of smoking addiction must be of a deeply mental nature. Without the palliatives of chocolates or forced distractions, because one addiction should not be compensated by another, although less offensive. Because the fundamental problem consists of fortifying the will and preserving the awake mind. Well, I don't change nothing and he's changed. No, please. They recall, I read this, yes. Psychic recovery after the abandonment of smoking addiction must be of a deeply mental nature, without the palliatives of chocolates or forced distractions, because one addiction should not be compensated by another, although less offensive, because the fundamental problem consists of fortifying the will and preserving the awake mind, and security against the onslaught of other pernicious vices. Here, I want to say that without control of your mind, without will, you are a great victim of be an slaver, an slave, by slavers there. If you don't have will, you don't control what you want in your mind, other here in this world and out of this world will have will to command you. Is emergently we get command of our mind, of our will here, because our will can construct material things here and there, construct spiritual things, but with materiality too. Because this I account a history in another video about spirits that create stones to broke front of the house. The spirit make this. Broke all front of our house, that inside this house have enemies of them that humiliate him for all his life, and when he's dead, he starts to create with his will, bad spirit, with his strong will for anger, create a strong mind that God create stones to broke all front of the house and door floor to the will of the spirit. Wasn't a spirit that had addiction, but he had great hunger, and this will give power to them. See what is the will. He broke off front of this house to humiliate who was inside this house. A rich person with this front of this house, all broken, and this family would change the place, would change the house, this spirit go together, this persons. He was furious of all things that persons humiliate him. But when he was dead and perceived that don't that, he created enormous will to create stones, real stones. Kardec was in this house, and the stone appeared from nothing in front of house, nothing, appeared a stone and goes so fast and broke. Kardec see this. Kardec don't see. Other peoples inside the house say to him, when Kardec was talking with this spirit by a sensitive person that Kardec knew and take with him, Kardec take this sensitive to help him to talk with this spirit. And the spirit talked with Kardec by sensitive, and said, Kardec asked why he was making this, and this spirit said, when I was walking ever in this street, these two women humiliated me for all my life. This person wasn't suffering, and still people inside the house humiliate more, still he's suffering. Don't have misericordy of those men, because this spirituality don't interfere to these people understand that exists more life than he was thinking. Exists motive to people, power people, suffering, And no one have rights to humiliate who is still suffering. We don't have the right to humiliate no one. We don't have this right. Still you are thinking we have rights. We don't must humiliate another people. And these spirits, high spirits that would control this spirit, don't make this. Inside the house, Kardec asked to spirit, I want to see what you make. Can you joke in me? Can you jump in me a stone? Oh, spirit was so angry and sad. Because the spirit perceived Kardec don't have afraid from him. And then he said, if I would make a mountain of stones inside you. I would make this with you. But I don't can, because your protector don't let me make this. When I read this from Kardec and this spirit, I understand. High spirits control. Yes, control, but this spirit was not control, because he was anger. Okay, they control spirit with anger. But inside the house have two people so much bad too. How does the spirit? They were the same vibration. Those who have courage to humiliate a person in the street, what is this? A psychopath person is this. And the spirit said to Kardec, if I don't would jump a stone in you because your protector don't let me. Then is this. Have confidence. Never humiliate no one in your life. Second, this will continue in another life. Okay, this life will continue. You are creating enemies for other life. Third, your protector, if you mercy, your protector will nothing this happen to you. You still have one people anger for jealousy, for example. Your protector will this happen with you. Only if you start to be with anger of other, then yes, your protector can make nothing. You don't control you. And pay attention. How will to control our wills is fundamental. It's because this we are in this planet to control our instincts, to control our will to destruct. Is this? It's not other reason. Continue here. Then because the fundamental problem consists of fortifying the will and preserving the awake mind as security against the onslaught of other pernicious vices. True solution implies, therefore, extirpating from the mind the idea that smoking is enjoyment or distraction or a means of calming the nerves. Cigarro não acalma os nervos. Cigarette don't calm the nerves or a means of calming the nerves. When in reality it's a harmful and animus vice, which testifies against one's own intelligence and wisdom. Other question. So that a smoker can gradually leave the addiction to smoking, what preliminary measures should he take to achieve the desired success? Ramatis answer. We have already told you that the most important thing for the most important thing for this is to clear the mind and eliminate the idea that cigarettes can cause pleasure or inspire ideas. The smoker should remember that just as he would not appreciate ingesting disgusting things, he should also not feel satisfied with sucking. The smoker should remember that just as he would not appreciate ingesting disgusting things, he should also not feel satisfied with sucking acid smoke and with it filling the lungs, which were not made for this. He should examine in the light of several and conscious reasons. What are the advantages of smoking or not smoking, and the degree or intelligence or stupidity of the person who absorbs toxics without benefit? The one who cannot get rid of the tobacco immediately must make a profitable mental planning, just as the military command investigates the tricks and vulnerabilities of this opponent, and then dominate him safely and defeat him by tenacious resistance. The will must be constantly trained under sensible and intelligent reflections in order to, little by little, exercise is modifying in action our subconscious and convince it of the pernicious reality of smoking. For the inveterate and unable smoker to give an immediate release from addiction, there is no other resource but to keep him in a state of incessant alert and heroic fight against himself. You have to be able to live with a cigarette in your pocket, but with enough strength to delay the satisfaction of the addiction. As if you wanted to humiliate, yes, this you must humiliate. To humiliate it before meeting your pernicious suggestion. Often he will even respond to the request of the fire of the addicted companion, but although feeling awaken in himself the desire to smoke, it must be delayed as much as possible. Despite the fact that the smoker is still forced to incinerate cigarettes, he must already do so by watching the extent of the addictions and abandoning the cigarette well before feeling satisfied. Then the willpower, which until then was dominated by smoke, returns little by little on the several mental vigilance and psychic recovery, as well as a bellicose some opponent, bellicose, some opponent retreats against tenacious and vigorous action. General gift decided. Along with smokers or tobacco odors, the best is not to run away for fear or giving in to the apparent delight and temptation of the cigarette. The important thing will be to face the situation in a calm and vigilant way, always analyzing the stupidity and ridicule that exist in the absorption of the smoke of fetid herbs. I remember that I stopped so fast. Was difficult, it's not easy. But I was eager to be abandoned by a man that I think I loved so much. I felt so humiliated, so much. And I perceived this vicious transformed me in a puppet, manipulated by the other that abandoned me, by the spirits. This time I don't have a notion from the spirits. I don't have read this. More late that I was stopped, I read this. And then I was hungry with me to be humiliated by this man. Cause this, I stopped it. And he continues smoke. Was my victorious. My victorious. Until then, I remember this. And when I start to bar of college, full of students, my friends, smoking, and all then full of my friends. After I stopped, disappear all my friends. See this? Disappear, my friends. Then I was recovering my mind, my power so strained this way. And I observed those men that abandoned me, humiliated by me. I never said this, I am saying to you. Oh, was my vengeance with me first. And a ridiculous person manipulated by all. Was this I perceived. Was so good this man go out. So good, grace of God. Grace of God put this in my life. And today I know that I was so beautiful, but I, in those times, don't perceive how much I was so beautiful. I was so beautiful. And this man was trying to humiliate me. Because they think that a woman, how me, don't got like him. Problem of him. I changed my life. I gave the cat's jump. It's marvelous. Was marvelous and it continued being marvelous. And it stopped to be a puppet in hands of vampires. Stop this. You can. If I can with 15 years, I was a teenager, you can too. All of us can. It's only train it and have certain that life don't finish here. And without will, there you will a puppet in hands of vampires. Don't have other discretion to this. And without talk about the pain you will feel, Because without this body, gross body, is a sensible body that will feel fire in all his body and agony that Ramatis said that don't have words to describe how agony is when you have addiction here and go out to this body there and can satisfy more. Because this they transform in vampires to alleviate this tremendous agony. Only this, I don't have this arguments in my life, and I stop. Take care of you. We must be convinced that tobacconists are places where the pocket of the unfortunate tobacco addict is exploited, and spirit exploited to you, representing a trade closer to the old Bororos or Tupinambás is of backward customs, and delivered to sometimes repellent vices. Is this, the conscious is first. After this, you start to work this, you get it. I say to you, you get it. I got it. I was so much manipulated until I was 13 years. I was this way. 50 years, I was this way. Only when I was so bad, I perceived I don't want more be manipulated for no one. And I stopped. This was my motivation. Naturally, each creature represents a separate temperament and psychic strength, for which reason a way of releasing cigarette addiction cannot be predicted for all smokers. The smoker himself should feel hurt in his dignity in the face of the humiliation of letting himself be defeated so easily by such a detestable addiction. Tobacco is the undesirable brain that dominates him to his pleasure, directs him at will, and meddles in all his daily acts. It dirties his fingers, teeth, and clothes, harms his respiratory dynamics, and intoxicates his stomach and blood circulation, also forcing him to use useless expenses. Unfortunately, he who cannot yet exercise control over himself or recover from such a pernicious addiction will also not be able to get rid of other attacks harmful to his psychic integrity. And above all, it's not appropriate for the smoker to forget the probability of becoming a detestable live-buyer. Is this vampires will get to you with cigarettes. He will suck you how a live-buyer of other delinquent spirits from beyond who continuously lurk all the spiritual intimacy that weakens in the addictions of smoking. Moreover, it's after that the worst consequences, pay attention, is not now, but after you dead, because the life continues. Okay? A vida não para aqui, a vida continua depois. Se você tiver vício, pior para você. Because the desire to smoke continues to act more vehemently in his perispirit, causing him the most terrible anguish in the face of the impossibility of satisfying this harmful and silly addiction. Is this. I hope you have understand the seriously of have an addiction, cause will don't that what that is the body. The life continues in other dimension. Okay? Is this your motivation? I don't need it in those times, this motivation. I needed the humiliation. Ask God to have a motivation to make this. What you think, this idea is marvelous, I think. Ask God. In lecture, I made today in gospel are saying, ask and you get it. Knock and you will open to you. The problem is no one that don't stop vicious won't ask to God. This is the problem. Have a nice final afternoon. God bless all. Thank you. Thank you, your presence.